Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
What's up?
How's it going, man?
Good, but how are you?
I'm doing good. No complaints.
What do you got going on? I love it. What's going on behind you? You having a little play around?
I'm still screwing with the studio and the backgrounds and everything else, just trying to figure out what works. Lighting's a fun thing, man. When you're trying to get the lighting right, when you're going from like StreamYard to Zoom and a half a dozen other things that we do, the lighting changes, and it's interesting. So, but just having fun with it.
Yeah, I'm traveling right now, so I'm just on the good old laptop. But yeah, I know this the feeling because the cameras and stuff are amazing. You don't realize kind of until you get into it, like what all goes into it. It's kind of an art, isn't it? And a science to try and get these, things all together to come in.
100%. Absolutely.
So, awesome. Well, guys, good morning. Welcome. This is Coffee with Closers. Believe it or not, I believe that this is week 52. This is a year today.
Mm-hmm. A year, and we haven't missed an episode, which is crazy. I mean, not all of us have been on every one of them, but we haven't missed one yet. So
pretty amazing. And we started. One thing that, and guys, you should take something from this is obviously consistency. There's one thing we would do 1,000 things different. We could be doing 1,000 things better. But one thing that we agreed on is let's be consistent, no matter if we have one person watching or 1,000 people watching, or we don't always get a guest on in time, or we can't always be on together as a three, but let's be consistent and make sure we put an episode out every single week. And we have achieved that in the first year. So good. I mean, that's awesome. And I think that shows, what you need to do in business in general, whatever you're doing, is be consistent. So appreciate you all watching. If you are, make sure you give us a like, subscribe, share if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. And Dave is actually, he's not traveling today, but he's gone to look at one of his apartment buildings or one he's going to buy or something along the lines of that. So he's not going to be with us. So it's just me and Don. We're probably going to keep this to about 30 minutes. We normally do when we're on our own, and we'll do an hour when we have guests. And we'll kind of go from there. Me and Don have just been hanging out in St. Louis. Yeah.
Did we forget where we were at?
Exactly, yeah. It was like, I've been all over the map over the last couple of months. I was like, where was I just with you? Yeah, St. Louis. We had a lot of fun, as we always do. Good to always collaborate, looking at new things that we can all be, working on and things like that. I don't know about you, Don, but not just when we get together, but I think, when we're in these, like the masterminds and we're networking, you just get, I think, like inspired. You get, it just keeps you on your toes, keeps you in the game, keeps you consistent. I mean, it does for me. It helps me a lot because it's sometimes a lonely place. Being an entrepreneur, especially the way that I do it, I work from home. I work from anywhere. I don't have an office. I don't have that, camaraderie in the office and like bells and banging bells when we do a deal. I mean, it's just not how I'm set up. So I think for me, the networking piece is really, really important. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Well, no, I think it's important to get around your peers, whether it's, in a mastermind setting or it's at an event, however you do it. Because I always say this, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we're not easily understood. We're not easily understood by the people around us, by our friends and our family. A lot of times we're doing things or taking risks or accomplishing things that are outside of their comfort zone or outside of anything they're ever going to try. And, like for instance, for me, when I started to have success in real estate investing and some of the things I was doing, and my lifestyle started to change and my discussions and conversations started to change, it was harder for me to relate to some family members or friends that I was, hanging around with, because my opportunities were different and the things and my choices and the things that I did were different. So the conversations that I wanted to have were different than the conversations that they were willing to have. And so it becomes very, very lonely. in that aspect of it. It becomes very lonely in the sense that when you're on the top of the hill as a business leader, you're the one the saying is shit rolls uphill, right? That's something I heard many years ago. It doesn't roll downhill. It doesn't roll down to your employees as a boss, as a business owner. It's kind of bad taste to complain to your employees, especially about other employees or the struggles in the business, because you don't want to ruin their mindset, or create a culture in your organization that is anything but positive. So, you start to hold these things in and internalize them, and you're taking all the arrows constantly, and you can't go home necessarily and talk to your spouse about it unless your spouse is a business partner, either, because again, they don't understand what we do. And in some cases, we'd probably freak them out if they understood the risk that we take. And so to be able to go and hang out with your peers, to be able to go and sit in a mastermind. We just got back. The reason why I was in St. Louis is we had the Inner Circle, the mastermind Thursday and Friday. We go sit in the mastermind and just kind of share wins and losses and be around people who get you, who understand you, and feel your passion, your pains, your struggles, and your wins. To be able to go to events. We were in Florida a couple of weeks ago for the Hero Summit, the Hero deal, and we were able to be around communities, members as well that get us, and those kind of things that they invigorate you, they re-inspire you, they let you know you're not alone in the battle, and those things are very, very important. Mindset's very, very important. That's part of the mindset component.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. 100% agree, because like we get, I don't know if you get this, I do, like I get a lot of times like, oh, I wish I could do what you do. I mean, you just have it great. Like, I wish I could, have them things. And it's like, well, you can. Like, do you think someone's just handed it to us, like teed it up, and you just move into these positions? No, you have to work harder than ever with no certainty. But that's what excites me, right? If you want to have a certain paycheck, you want certainty, then you need a job, because at the end of the week you're going to make X, and that's what you do. But if you want to go and make some good money, right, then you don't know when the next thing's coming, because that's what you got to work on, right? So you got to be out your comfort zone. And it is good. It's good to, have them people around you. Like, I come and join you on the mastermind, on that last day, hung out, some powerful people in the group. And a lot of people that I hadn't met, so that's exciting, understanding what they're doing and what's working for them, but also not just what's working for them, but what's not working, right? Because there's always things changing, and unless you're doing it, you don't know them things. And as coaches, as educators, we have to be doing the business, in my opinion, to understand, well, texting doesn't work now. Texting doesn't work now. So you have to be doing them things and feeling the pain of that. And now what do you do? What are you going to change? What are you going to pick up next? And doing all them things. So yeah, really, 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 really good.
Right. We have some comments here. So Andy Cox, being new to the business, what should I look for in getting connected with REI groups? My 2 cents, Andy, is if you're new, I would definitely look at your local meetups. Most cities have a local meetup, and I would get connected with your community. There's going to be a lot of great relationships and a lot of opportunity to make money, with your local REIAs. There's mentoring and coaching out there as well. We do mentoring and coaching. I know Gavin does mentoring and coaching. Dave does mentoring and coaching. We all do things a little differently. So we have our own mentoring and coaching programs, but there's opportunities there to become part of our communities. I'm going to throw this out here. This is a shameless plug, but I'm doing an event May 19, 2021 in Fontana, California, where we're going to be spending 3 days together. It's more of a mastermind type of situation where we'll be educating, but we'll also be collaborating. And then we're going to visit an office of one of our mastermind members. So if anybody wants to go to that, Andy, if that's something you're looking for, being new, we can definitely serve you. Go to fliptalk.com/event. And you can grab a ticket there. If you use Flip85, Flip85 is the promo code. You get 85% off the ticket price. So just go to fliptalk.com/event and use Flip85. Gavin, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think 100% you should go, guys, right? They're the things that are going to change everything for you. Is these events. Don does a great job again of putting these things on, so I'd highly recommend getting on that, and don't wait for the next one, because you'll be waiting forever, right? He just gave you the dates. Get on it. and get in the room, right? Be in this room. That's what it's all about, and it's going to change everything. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be around the right people. Again, we understand that when you start in this business, whether you're brand new, nobody else is. They're all thinking that you're not going to do it. Okay, they're thinking that you're not going to do it. They're thinking you're crazy. You've lost your mind. This will never work, and all them things. So, yeah, make sure you're there.
Yeah, why don't you take this one? Yeah.
Shane, how are you, buddy? This is a good friend of mine from the UK, absolutely killing it. We had him on a couple of weeks ago, flipping RVs. We had a conversation about this. It was either in St. Louis or in Jacksonville when we're like, could we do it in the US? So, so Shane's saying here that if we was to choose one, what would be the best REI network to head to and why? Big question, right? Because there's so many things to offer. I think for Shane asking this question, when you are next in the US, you would come to one of the ones that I'm in. Sometimes we can bring guests. But if I was starting off, I mean, you want to go to your local ones or do the ones where, like Don was just saying, the 3 days to get around people. So I think it depends on your level and what you're interested in and what type of strategy that you're interested in. So I think if you've narrowed that down, if you want to be wholesaling or creative finance, then you will start to then narrow down, focusing on who kind of puts them events on. I don't know about you, Don. I'm not too keen on the massive events, like the 600 people in a room. Personally, it's just not. They're still good. You still have people there, but there's I don't know. I just never seem to. I always work better when it's smaller. Personally, what do you think?
Look, I think both of them have value. The 600 plus person events, they're great for networking in some ways, but it's a preach and teach. I always say it's a preach and teach. There's people on the stage, they're going to talk at you and not necessarily with you. But there's a lot of great things you can learn from them. And I don't discourage people from necessarily attending those. When I'm talking about the things we're doing, we like small, it's about 30 or 40 people. It's very intimate. It's set up mastermind style where we're going to get to know you and ask questions about what you are struggling with, what you want to learn, where you need to win. And then we tailor the 3 days around the group. And so we have people that are new. We have people that have some mid-level experience. We have some advanced people in the room, and it's a collaboration. And we make sure that everybody walks out with a plan of action. So, Andy Cox asked for the site one more time. Andy, it's on the screen there, fliptalk.com/events. Let's see. I think somebody here asked for, okay, that's the promo code. So flip85 to get basically 85% off. And then we have Matt Smith says, what are you guys covering at this? So what are you guys covering? Is it going to be focused on anything like negotiations and raising money? Yes. So Matt's actually been to one of these. And for instance, I play calls where I've jumped on the phone and I've negotiated with sellers, and I play those calls and break down. I break down where I did things right and where I did things wrong in that particular call. We talk about negotiations. We talk about raising private money. We talk about systems, processes, hiring. If we need to, we'll take a deep dive into rehabbing. We really tailor it to the room. Like I said, what you need. If you're struggling in dispositions, if you're struggling in a certain system, like we're going to make sure you have those answers when you walk out of the room. So the difference between a 600 person event is you're going to get some good information, but your particular need may not be met. When we're doing these 3 days, we're making sure that your particular needs are met before you leave. And again, we're going to be visiting a member of our Inner Circle Elites office. That's why it's in California. And he has a $40 million portfolio. They have a couple of $5 million funds. They do an amazing business. He's an amazing individual. His business partner is an amazing individual. And they're going to be opening up their office and showing us their operation, what their team is doing, walking us through, answering questions. So you're not only going to sit in a room and get your questions answered, but you're also going to see a fully functioning operation that's really kicking some ass in a big way. So, that's the difference in the two. I think they both have value, but personally, I like to go to the stuff where it can be a little more intimate and I can network and that kind of stuff. So we have a question here. So what are the best programs or systems for a new wholesaler you'd recommend? So I'm not sure if you're looking for coaching or mentoring, or if you're just looking for another avenue. So Gavin, I'll let you throw some input on this and we'll see what they say.
Wholesaler would you recommend? Yeah, I
Software. It
think.
says software. Sorry, here it is. Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
it is. Okay,
Yeah.
software. Yeah, I mean, I'm not huge. If you're starting off, it depends on if you are a kind of a tech person or if you like, I can't really turn on a computer because I think that changes it. Software to me, it definitely helps you, but it doesn't make you money, and especially up front. It will make you more efficient eventually. And it does keep you organized, and it helps with like automation, delegation, all these things. But when you're starting off, it also gets you off the top of actually making money because you hide behind it, right? And that's what we don't want. We don't want you in the CRM being busy for 40 hours a week, getting absolutely nowhere, not making any money, because we know if you're not marketing, having conversations with sellers, making offers and following up, you're not doing business, you're not making any money in this business. And it doesn't matter what marketing piece you're using, it's exactly the same. You have to market to get leads, you have to have conversations, okay, to find out what's going on, to find out what the distress is or how you can solve the seller's problem. You have to make an offer. If you don't make an offer, you will not do a deal. And then once you've made that offer, you're not going to get all offers accepted, so then you put them up on a follow-up. So that's kind of the cycle. So when we talk about softwares, obviously you could do with using potentially a CRM. There's several out there. I would pick one, and I would do three basic things to start with, okay? Which for me would be to change the status of the lead. So is it a new lead? Is it on follow-up? You need to make an offer. So change the status. I would create a task for the next action that you need to take, whether it is to follow up in 30 days or send out the contract tonight, whatever that may be, but always have a task set for each lead. And then notes. Make sure you're taking good notes because as that follow-up task comes back in, you're going to reference them notes to be able to move that lead forward. Now, it's very easy when we have 5 or 10 leads that you're going to think of everything. You don't need a CRM for that. But when you're talking about hundreds and thousands of leads, okay, spread out over months' time, you're not going to remember every single seller. So the notes are really important. And if you do them three things right, I would say that is going to be the basic things that you need in that CRM. There's Freedom Soft, there's REI Black Book, there's Podio. Podio needs to be built out a little. You just got to make a decision and go with it.
Yeah, Beast Mode is a Podio-based CRM that's really good.
Yep.
There's Forefront, which is an off Podio-based CRM, really good. Let's name the ones we know. We know the owners. So there's RE Simply with an I.
Yep.
There's Freedom Soft.
Yep.
REI Black Book, Beast Mode.
Yep.
And then Forefront are probably the 5 that I would name and say, we know the owners well. We know that their intentions are sincere. You just got to look at each one of them and decide which one's best for you as a fit. But even then, CRM is important to start right out of the gate. But the first thing you need to do is just start getting deals. I would say Propstream would be a great software to pull some leads and start working deals before the CRM. And then of course you have batch leads as well. Do we have those? Okay. Yep. So trial propstream.com/closers. And then we should have one for batch as well. So if you go to trial.propstreampro.com/closers, you can get a 7-day free trial to Propstream. Go in there, check it out, play with it. And then batch, it's batchleads.io/closers. You can try both of those. I think batch gives you 5,000 free leads records with that promo code. So, and try them out. How you get your leads is important. And then second is obviously the CRM. And you want to start these things. I'm a big advocate. Let me step back. I'm a big advocate of not doing anything that's going to keep you from making money. Like your business card, your website does not need to happen before you're doing deals. I didn't have a business card or a website for a year. In the business, and it didn't affect my business. So, but you do need to start doing things like CRMs early on, so that you get comfortable with them before you get busy. So those are things that you need to learn before you get busy, because when you're in the weeds and you're in the fire and trying to figure things out can be overwhelming.
Yep, absolutely. And then just pick batch or Propstream. As Don just said, you don't need both. Pick one, download some leads, get them skip traced, get on the phone, right? Start calling, having conversations, and then start that process. And if I was new, and then you want to start looking as you get into that and understand it more, you can start outsourcing it, hiring virtual assistants from the Philippines or wherever to be taking that workload. Because the idea is that when you start this as an entrepreneur, you're going to be wearing every hat in the business, and you're going to be busy. You're going to be busy, and you're going to be busy doing things that isn't going to make you money, but needs to be done. Okay, so then you need to start outsourcing them things so you can focus on that high generating dollar amount activities, like being on the phone. All right, we call this coffee with closers because it is the most important thing in the business that you need to be good at. It is what makes the money, in my opinion. It's the $1 million skill.
What exactly is skip tracing? This comes from Andy Cox. I think this is a fantastic question. And I can understand why it is elusive, right? So skip tracing is essentially taking a name and an address, right? An owner of a property, and then figuring out how to contact them. So their address, their mailing address may be different than the property address, and that then the tax records may not have updated that information. You're trying to find their current address, but primarily you're also trying to find their current phone number. And so say you pull these addresses, but you don't have a phone number associated with them. What you're trying to do is find the best phone numbers to reach the homeowner so that you can cold call them or text them. Now, texting is starting to become a little more challenging, but you can text them or cold call them. So, but it's an avenue for a lot of ways of contacting a homeowner for the most part. And hopefully I answered that well.
Yeah, no, great. Yep. And it's good. We're lucky to have that, right? Because I know back in the UK, we can't get any data, same as Canada. We can't get this information. Now, it's the same for everybody, so it doesn't really matter because it's not like me and Don just are able to skip trace and nobody else is, right? We'd be like billionaires if that was the case. But it's all relevant. But yeah, it's definitely something I think as an entry level that everyone should be doing starting off. For sure.
Yeah. And just to simplify, hopefully, because I always try to rethink my answers. It's just you're finding relevant information for contacting the homeowner. That's basically what it is. So Matt threw up here. I want to just throw this shout out here. He said that call was fire. And I know what he's talking about. So I made a comment about we'll play some of my own calls to the group, but I actually got on the phone and negotiated with the seller in front of the entire group at one of these things. So if you happen to come to our 3-day in May and you have some leads, I'll jump on the call in front of the room, whether it's 30 people or 40 people or whatever, and I'll actually get on the call and I'll do some seller negotiations. Acquisitions is my passion. I used to door knock for a number of years, pre-foreclosures. I did my own acquisitions in my company, and then we close deals over the phone now. So I love to jump on the phone and close sellers. And it's something that's really, really cool. So, okay, let's see here. And then Andy says, thank you. So, if you all got questions, I mean, that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that I love this interaction. Sometimes we have a ton of interaction and sometimes we don't. These interactive shows are the best for us. I know, Gavin, you probably feel the same way. So let's see.
Yeah. No, it's definitely. Absolutely. You guys as in the audience and people watching as you drive these calls, right? Especially when it's me and Don and Dave on together. Sometimes when we have a guest, obviously we're going to be, asking them questions directly, whatever their expertise is. But when it's us, I mean, we're here. So anything that you've got, throw at us because you drive the call. So this is kind of like, it's kind of like a free coaching call or free to hang out, or we'll give you knowledge. If we don't know the answer, we're the first to say we're not here to BS. And try and take you down. Like, I don't know if it's something I can't answer. I'll be like, I don't know. Don, do you know? We don't know. We'll try and push you in the right direction to what you need to do to find that answer. So yeah, keep the questions coming. Really good interaction today for sure. While we're at, I want to say real quick, because our numbers look really good today. Make sure you give us a like, subscribe. Remember, share that post if you just joined us, whether you're watching on my YouTube, Don's, Dave's, Facebook groups, wherever you are. If you could do that, we want to get as many eyes on as we can. We're not here to sell anything. We never sell. We never try. We'll mention if we've got things coming up that you should join. If we think it's going to be a benefit, we'll talk about that. But we're not here. We're not going to be a full pitching at the end of the session or anything like that. We're just here to try and give as much value as we can. So appreciate you all.
Yeah. All right. Well, looks like the questions have slowed down. We're about the 30-minute mark. So I think that might be a good call for the day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we nailed it today. It was good. Dave needs to up it when he gets back.
He's gonna have to up it. So, one of the things that would be really cool, I'm gonna throw my email out there, Don@fliptalk.com. And I'll say it again, don@fliptalk.com. If you have any guest suggestions, anybody that you want to hear from, anybody that you want us to have on the show, throw me an email and we'll send them, we'll invite them to be on the show and give you an opportunity to hear from them. I know we're working on a few really cool guests, but we'd love to hear what the audience wants to hear. And I think that'd be important. Let's see. Somebody asked another question here. So what are some more unconventional ways to get leads to find a deal, trying to think outside the box? Look, the driving for dollars obviously is not necessarily unconventional, but it's a great way to get leads when you don't have a whole lot of money. I love, when I started out, I loved pre-foreclosure and tax defaults. Now, not all states are tax default states. That's when the county sends the property to auction after a certain point. I really, really, really liked tax defaults. And so door knocking, pre-foreclosures, and tax defaults is a great way to get things going. Water shutoffs. Some counties and municipalities will challenge you on getting those, but if you can get the water shutoff list, those are great leads to have. Gavin, what else do you got there, buddy?
Yeah, anything with really, distress in terms of, the list. But I don't think there is, like, don't think that there's a marketing piece that no one else knows about, right? It's like Don said, it's more the list type than the marketing piece, because we only have so many options, right? We have cold calling, we have texting, we have direct mail, we have bandit signs, we have door knocking, we have Facebook ads, we have pay-per-click ads, right? I think that's pretty much everything that you can do that kind of covers that. But it's about that list, as Don just said. Anything that will show more distress potentially, and also if you want to get into it, it's a little more advanced. But if you do get batch leads.io/closers, you can actually get into list stacking. So you could actually say, right, show me people that are on, the tax default, the code violation, and they've had the water shut off, right? So you could pair all them 3 lists together to get a real niche list. And when you get a niche list, maybe of 100 people or 20 or 50 people, that's when I would be hitting it every way possible. I would be texting them, calling them, door knocking them, talking to the neighbors, because that shows that there's three motivating things happening in them lists as well, that you could be doing. So if you want to get into that, you could, but don't let that stop you and take you ages, because when you're cold calling and texting, it is more of a volume play. So you just want to hit everybody essentially. So I would say that's what I would do, and as Don said, hit them lists.
Yeah. Do we have the, I just threw a link up to a bunch of free resources. We have 100 ways to find deals in this. And then we have the resources from Coffee with Closers. Gavin, do you know where that is?
Yeah, let me look. I'll have it here for you.
Because we have some resources there as well. So, look,
coffeewithcloserslive.com.
Coffeewithcloserslive.com is another place to get some free resources, coffeewithcloserslive.com. And basically both of them have separate resources. Go to both areas and grab your resources. There's contracts, there's documents and stuff like that on coffeewithcloserslive.com, as well as some of the resources we provide. So the point is there's a ton of ways. Basically yard sales are some great ways to see if people are moving out, sales. Right? And estate sales. There's a lot of outside the box ways of doing it. This list of 100 ways to basically find free leads we'll list a lot of those. So let's hit one more question here. What do you think about using Facebook groups to get leads to come to you if you post that you buy houses, cash, etc? A lot of people are doing that. There's a few people who get their leads through Facebook groups, but it's primarily generally, working with other wholesalers that have deals. I don't necessarily see a tremendous lead flow from homeowners that have deals, but your exposure on Facebook and consistency in anything you do is going to bring you deals. And so posting, looking for deals in the right groups. And here's a little secret. I believe that the groups that you're going to post in aren't going to be groups that are real estate based. If you're going to post, you're looking to buy deals, it's going to be something that's going to be non-real estate based, probably community based per se, whether it's buy, trade, sell, or some other maybe crafting or something. I don't know, but I would get out of the real estate and real estate wholesale, type of sites, type of groups. If you're going to post that you buy buy houses cash. Gavin, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I think it's sometimes if it's not done right, it's kind of like a 101 type post of like, oh, you're new to the business, and most people, are not going to go with it. I think there's a difference between coming in and actually personally messaging people. If it's other wholesalers by saying, hey, is there any way we can JV? I have a good buyers list. If you do have to generate more JV partners, I think that works. And as Don said, if it's in the where you're looking for sellers, I mean, you could try Facebook Marketplace and start messaging sellers on there about, potentially, buying their houses, or is their price negotiable, and then, start generating leads that way. But yeah, I'd say that's about it.
Matt Smith shared this. You can join Nextdoor and post every day to see if anyone is selling. Hey, Matt, that's actually an outside the box way of doing things. So,
yeah.
And then Matt Smith says the ones that don't work as well are high equity vacant. I'd focus on bigger pain points. Okay, talking about lead generation, and then let's see the last one here. Great info. My screen changed. Great info. Thank you so much. Hopefully, it makes some deals so I can jump on your next mentoring program, jump into your mentoring program. So, yeah, absolutely. So I think we're good. I did something crazy on my screen, but now I fixed it. So, all right.
Awesome. Next week, we're going to be back. Next week, Coffee with Closers. We might have a guest. You'll have to stay tuned to see who that's going to be. And we'll be live every week, 12 Eastern, 11 Central, 9 Pacific. So make sure you join us. And Don, appreciate you. We'll be signing out, and we'll talk to you all soon.